What is going on, everybody? Bitcoin and crypto are crashing right now. None really much bigger than Solana. It's being brutalized today as we are seeing evidence of manipulation continuing to play out in the crypto markets. But here's the thing: whether it's manipulation or whether this is the bear market, a lot of you guys out there are fearful, are scared about what this means for your crypto portfolios moving forward. And in today's video, we're going to address what is happening with the manipulation, what the tactics are that are being played out, and just what are some of those max pain point levels that crypto prices should be watching before you really should be concerned about a bear market coming. We're gonna do that and a whole lot more in today's video, so make sure to stick around all the way to the end. And while I know a lot of you guys are struggling and you're not really liking what the markets are looking like, make sure to smash that like button always, as we keep you up to date every single day with what you need to know in these markets to make the most money possible for you, your family, and others. So smash that like button, hit subscribe, but first, we got to roll an intro. All right, everybody, we're going to have a great show today. Got two great guys with me. I'm back home in my studio. Reading chat here before we introduce you guys. Reading some chat here. Jackie says, "This sucks, Tim." I think Jackie speaks for all of us. Jackie's an astute. I don't know if Jackie's a male Jackie or a female Jackie, but Jackie, I feel you, and I agree with you. Amp Knight says, "Hello, bros. Been shorting these past 4 weeks and have been making more returns than DCing and alts in 2023 and 2024. Is that crazy or what?" Hey, Amp Knight, good for you. Way to trade. No matter what's happening in the markets, people can make money. Just like Amp Knight, you can trade long, you can trade short. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but love hearing you guys' takes. Today, we're doing a lot of Q&A, so make sure you guys are engaged throughout the show. Yes, we read chat. Yes, we want to answer your questions, your concerns, and help you in your journey. But let's introduce my two co-hosts for the show today. I got Smay down here to the bottom right. Smay, how are we feeling today?
I'm doing great.
Good. Anything else you want to add? How was your weekend?
It was great. Very
good.
nice.
Good.
Very descriptive.
There, yeah. You know, sometimes you just gotta stop Smay from speaking so much. You know, Tshroom, how about you, my friend? How are you doing?
I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. Got to get out this weekend and climb a mountain, actually, with my wife. Now, it wasn't the kind that required rope and completely vertical climbing. We hiked. I guess hiked would probably be a little bit more accurate of a verb to use in this type of a situation. But it was fun. We did that, and then we got to play golf, Tim. When you're not playing golf in Florida, you're playing in Georgia. So
It's true.
we got to play a little golf with you and see that you indeed have made some big improvements in your golf game. Much more confident swing.
Listen, it doesn't count until Smay sees it, because apparently he is the judge of all golf playing out That's there. Right. If he doesn't see it, it doesn't happen. So next time to play with Smay, I'm excited. Oh, man. So let's read some chat here again. We're going to get into the show in just a second, but I love some of the stuff that's being talked about here. Paolo says they are treating us like slaves, Tim. I don't know about that one, but I feel you. I feel the pain. There's a question asked here just a little bit ago. Oh, Constantine. Ooh, how do you say that last name? Korkalos? I don't know. We're going to go with Constantine, though. He says, "Does this dip change your price predictions?" That's a fantastic question, Constantine. And you know what I'm going to do with that question? I'm going to copy and paste that into chat, because we're going to answer that a little bit later. Stick around through some of the chat. I actually really love that question. I want to answer it a little bit more in depth, go into some thought-provoking issues, you guys. So keep going with chat, everybody. While we are getting into all this stuff, though, I want to throw it to Tshroom. Today, we always do the 1 minute long run through of our news. Today, this is going to be the news you guys are going to hear. We're going to have a conversation later on the big story that has to do with Binance. But Tshroom, for everyone who is here already, what is the big news headlines people need to know about? Take it away.
Absolutely. Well, the big bearish news, you may have seen it in chat. We have a couple of folks who are clearly very educated in the markets, but this is what is being referred to here. Market maker Wintermute has withdrawn a large amount of Solana from Binance in the past 4 hours. You'll be hearing a lot more about Wintermute and Binance here later in the show as we break down exactly what is leading to lower prices in altcoins. moving into some of the other headlines here. Institutional cycle news. Citadel Securities, one of the largest players in the U.S. stock market, plans to become a liquidity provider for the crypto market. The company aims to join the market maker list of exchanges like Coinbase and Binance. And then we got Big Crux jumping in. He's got a hoodie, and his hoodie has the logo of the new channel Alpha Broz, which if you haven't checked it out, you got to go check it out. Big shout out to Crux. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy buys another 20,356 Bitcoin at just under $2 billion. Just $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. And it really shouldn't be a shocker. But that is a lot of Bitcoin. The Securities and Exchange Commission ends investigation into Robinhood. And just before we went live, this headline came out. Nayib Bukele said, "O ye of little faith, those who watch this Bitcoin office information stream have been watching a plateau here. See that plateau in Bitcoin? This has changed." So they just bought a bunch more Bitcoin. I believe 7 more Bitcoin. That's a bunch for them, right? They're no MicroStrategy, but they do stack sats, that's for sure. So don't lose your faith in Nayib Bukele. And I think that's going to be the theme for the day today. Don't lose your faith. There is a lot here for the faithful to be excited about. But Tim, that is going to be our news. We'll be digesting some more about the Solana sell-off and Wintermute and Binance here in just a few minutes.
Before we move on, that last story about Nayib Bukele, it's actually more significant than you would think, because maybe some of you are not on X. Maybe you guys aren't, with what we do, we're on X all the time. It is the new place where I receive all of my information for news, updates, and everything. But there's a lot of banter in recent months that Nayib Bukele and El Salvador were turning their backs on Bitcoin. They were going to start selling it off. They're done with the experiment. So to see this come out, Nayib Bukele kind of silence the doubters, quiet the fearful, and say, no, we're still buying, and here's the proof of it. That is a big deal. Not that I'm saying that Nayib Bukele and El Salvador could have single-handedly brought on the bear market. That would have been a pretty bad sign, though. If the first country to ever go full-blown Bitcoin were to turn their back on the idea of it all and start selling off, that would have ripple effects in the rest of how the markets work. So I know that seems like a small headline, a small detail, but it is something I would urge you guys to think heavily about why that is very, very bullish. And at the very least, it's anti-bearish, right? Maybe it's not so bullish, but it could have been really bad if it was true that he had given up on Bitcoin. With that said, whether you are bullish or bearish right now, I'm reading a poll we just put in chat here not too long ago. I asked you guys, is this latest dip scaring you? Results right now, 40% of you are saying yes, 23% of you are saying I don't know what to think anymore. I take that, just as this is scaring you, right? I gave you 2 different options for that. Only 36% of you guys are saying no. I'll be honest with you. That's here on our channel. We're going to always be more optimistic, more hopeful. You guys know that I still believe we are in the middle of a bull market. I'm going to talk about what I think the future looks like for a lot of different coins. We're going to be talking about the word of the day today is max pain. What is max pain? What does it mean? And where is max pain for a lot of different altcoins and Bitcoin? But this right here is showing me more than 60% of even the Broz community is now starting to become fearful. If we look at this poll literally a month ago, when the bearishness kind of started, even post February 2nd, this poll was still sitting closer to 60 to 70% positive, and now we're looking at 60 to 70% negative. What does that tell me, ladies and gentlemen? I know a lot of you are going to ask, what's the purpose? That tells me we're closer to the bottom than you would think. I know I've said that a lot here recently, and I can't tell you the timeline, but we're still maintaining a lot of the bottoms that we have put in for months now. Do not give up hope just yet. We will talk about the details that would happen to give up hope, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Shout out, though, to whether you're bullish or bearish, our trading partner for the channel, Blofin. You guys can make money right now if you're bullish and you want to long, or if you're bearish and you want to keep shorting these markets. Make sure you check out Blofin. Use our link in the description down below. It is one of the ways to help support the Bros so we can continue to bring you daily content on cryptocurrency. And also, we have a little Discord group for our Blofin traders that you can join right now over in our Discord. Shout out to Blofin, the #1 trading tool in America. No KYC, no VPN required. Start trading today. let's go ahead and look at the markets. Let's look at the bubbles. And as you would imagine, they're pretty gnarly and pretty red, with the exception of maybe IP over here. One is hiding behind me, Radium. Talked about this a little bit earlier in our VIP trading group. Radium is the biggest bleeder of the day, down 26%. What's actually crazy is things are actually down a little bit further than this. This is misleading because this is talking about what's happening in the last 24 hours. We kind of closed yesterday with a little bit of a pump and then started bleeding a lot more. Solana is now down more than 10% on the daily candle, but it's only down 9.8% in the last 24 hours. Hype is down pretty big. Ondo's taking a big bloodbath. They've been taking one. Sui's taking a bloodbath. Over here is down 9.2%. Link also hiding behind me. A lot of my favorites are hiding here. 7.4% to the downside. Bitcoin dominance is a climbing. Alts are definitely getting bled out, and Bitcoin's falling too. I mean, we're talking about Bitcoin here in just a second, but the Bitcoin dominance chart is back into setting after a temporary pullback, right? We're back in a very short time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour chart here. You're going to see we've started to develop a very slight higher high and higher low period here on the 4-hour chart. So that is going to cause a lot of people to think that this bleeding is not quite over, that it's going to continue. And that's going to be evidence that that statement probably is correct. On a more longer time frame, could we start to see a rejection here lower than the highs back on February 7th and start a descending channel there? Possibly. But right now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell you different. As bullish as I am for the long term, what we are watching happen on this chart and what I'm about to show you on other charts is showing me the bears are in control right now. For more on that, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. And then, like I said, a lot of Q&A today, a lot of talk. We're going to look at a lot of altcoins. We're going to talk about max pain a lot here today, the levels that are the scariest for all of the charts. When it comes to Bitcoin, we're back down to a level we've seen a couple of times here in the last couple of weeks. Back down, we flirted below $94,000. We got to go to lower time frames to see more significance here. You can see this yellow golden line here, whichever color you want to call it is. We kind of have a new trend line. We had been tracking one kind of more in a phase of tracking these highs with a lot of different contexts throughout the time, but it's really looking right now like the resistance level to keep an eye on for Bitcoin is this one. We got three major touches. One, all-time high set back on January 20th. Then again here to close out January on the 30th. And then here the other day with a big breakout, but still a lower high. We came down here and we touched it once again. Did we break some recent highs of last couple of weeks? Yes, but staying in that lower high zone at this point now, what I'm going to want to see is a break above this structure, a break back above 100,000 and above that gold level to get some bullishness going on. It gets worse when you start to come down towards lower levels. We're starting to see some bullish calls get canceled out. You can see here, for example, the 1-hour chart, bullish divergences have been a major call to help signal bottoms. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but these bullish divergences have led to big moves on Bitcoin, even on this 1-hour chart. We got a strong one this morning. We got a buy signal, and it's too soon to say for certain if this is going to cancel out or not, but we're not seeing any momentum come in since this. In fact, we've seen a lower low be put in since then, almost canceling out that bullish divergence. Some people are going to say, Tim, does that mean that this trading system is flawed? Well, there's no 100% trading system whatsoever. What you need to understand when you're trading and when you're doing technical analysis is how do you deal with when a structure that is very high likelihood of working ends up not working. You have to understand what the markets are telling you. What the markets are saying right now, as we are bleeding here, once again, the bears are in full control. Yes, we've had a couple high volume bottoms. We had a small little bounce back, and then the markets keep going lower. That is a sign of lower highs, lower lows, and in other words, the bears are much in control. What's a target that I'm watching right now for the next couple of days that could be very interesting? We're going to have to go back out towards that long-term support level we've been dealing with since November, and that is going to be back here in the camp of $92,000 to $90,000. This is a zone with support that we have seen Bitcoin bounce off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the last 3 months. It's very much looking like that's something that wants to happen again. Now, let's start to tackle this max pain question and argument, because as I said, even the Broz community at this point, we have 620 votes in right now, and we are seeing, still 63% are at least at best neutral, and at worst, they're fearful. This is a sign that the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is on its way down. Now, we're not going to see this replicated right this second. If you look at Fear and Greed Index at the moment, this site, alternative.me, which is my favorite to keep an eye on, that's saying 49. That's squarely in neutral. If you go to CoinMarketCap and you were to go to, let's go back to CoinMarketCap over here, its Fear and Greed is coming in at 40, okay? Still in the neutral. Well, why? With all this pain and this big fallback that's happened, why are we still sitting in neutral? Well, you have to remember these signals come out they come out once every 24 hours at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where was Bitcoin at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night? Let's go take a look. It's going to be roughly 1900 here on February 23rd. Bitcoin was sitting up high, and I say it's weird to say high, but sitting up at 96,300, much higher than it is right now. It's been since this Fear and Greed Index ticker flashed neutral that we've had another big move to the downside. Getting a little bit of a bounce as we are speaking and running the show right now. But what does this tell me? Unless we see Bitcoin bounce back up and probably outdo 96 and get back towards 97 before 7 p.m. tonight, yes, that's going to be 4 hours from now, we are probably going to watch Fear and Greed Index tick back into fear. People are tired of it. I'm reading the comments. I'm seeing the chat. I'm seeing X. People are sick and tired of this constant pullback. Every time we start to do anything bullish, there seems to be an even bigger pushback to the downside. And that brings a whole lot of fear. And with that, we're going to transfer over into our big conversation today, because this is a good way to transition into it. Why are we dropping today? What is happening? And then we're going to get back into the topics. How do you handle this information? How do you deal with this constant suppression of price? Is it time to give up? Or is this marking a close to bottom situation? Max Payne, we'll talk here in a second. Let's start with Tshroom, though. What is the reason we're crashing today? Binance, I can't remember what's the name of the other company.
Wintermute.
Wintermute. I never heard of them before a couple of days ago. What's going on with them? Why is this causing the market to crash so severely? Tell us the details.
Yeah. Before we go to my screen, maybe we should try to define our terms here and look up what exactly Wintermute is, just so everybody's tracking. All right, you can go to my screen now here, Smay. So Wintermute, they're, according to their Twitter profile, powering liquidity to crypto markets, one-stop shop, OTC. OTC, builders of decentralized future. So these are the not directed towards UK users. Okay, so they're litigious, right? They're legally sensitive here with the disclaimer in their bio. They're an OTC market maker, liquidity provider, right? Essentially, this is a very, very big player in early cryptocurrency industry that we currently exist in. Okay, so that's defining our terms, getting to know this character in the story. Now, what's going on here? Because we already know Binance. Market maker Wintermute has withdrawn a large amount of Solana from Binance in the past 4 hours. So what we know about big movements in crypto is that can signal an intent to sell, can also signal an intent in this case to hold, to hodl, taking money off of an exchange is actually usually a signal to go ahead and hodl, but the market didn't take it that way. And because it belongs to Wintermute, the Solana belongs to Wintermute, it was essentially kind of a sell signal for a lot of on-chain analysis, and that's essentially what we saw. Now, there are many accounts, including the investing bros, that are pretty skeptical about what the intentions are of Wintermute taking the Solana off the Binance exchange. Marty Party is one of the accounts that's kind of hot on the trail, really doing a lot of work here in investigating what's going on. So note how looking at Binance and Solana balance left and Wintermute Solana balance right, the two charts fit perfectly into each other. Solana went to the market maker to dump price and returned. Roughly 1 million Solana was used to dump price from $30 to $150. I'm sorry, $300 to $150. The same is true for most altcoins. This headline here, this tweet, I should say, is from today, from 10 a.m. this morning. There was another tweet from actually earlier this month, February 1st of the same year, where Marty Party tweeted the same thing. He's been hot on the trail of Wintermute and Binance and their swapping and their hedge fund trading strategies for a long time. He said this. Here you can see Wintermute sending back all the SOL, all the Solana to Binance after buying it back lower on their manufactured dip. They sell assets for lower prices, dump the price, and buy it back at a lower price and send back more assets than they were sent. Win, win, win. The losers are the leverage traders and the panic sellers. So that's really all the evidence I need, right? And all of this has images from Arkham Research, which is a tool so that you can actually track on-chain movement. We had the Bybit hack last week. Arkham was one of the tools that you on-chain analysts can use to track where the money went. That 1.4 billion that was hacked from Bybit. It's very similar to what accounts like Marty Party and others can do to try to track where the money is going from Wintermute and Binance. And in this case, it's not getting scattered across hundreds of thousands of addresses, as in the case of the Bybit hack. It's just going back and forth between Binance and Wintermute. And that movement alone, along with selling of the actual Solana itself, in combination, that triggers a panic. It triggers a panic for people like you and me, retail investors, and also leverage traders who aren't maybe not retail, but they're institutional level traders, but that they were not anticipating this, or the bots that they set up were not anticipating this kind of move. So it's a classic liquidity grab. It's not something that is super new. This is not a new under the sun type of phenomenon. This has happened in the Forex markets, in the commodity futures markets, and the stock markets all around the world. Is when the liquidity is getting low on exchanges, big whales can make moves that can shock the rest of retail out. It also happens to be a bit of a bottoming signal as well. That doesn't mean the prices can't go lower from here, but the way that most market participants are viewing this event is it's another manipulated move, coordinated while the markets are weak from the Bybit hack. Retailers are scared. Tim was showing you that fear and greed index. And this is just an excellent time for people with leverage and people with a lot of money to do what they do best. And that is to make more of it with that large amount of money. And that's exactly what Binance and Wintermute are doing here. Now, we may hear from CZ at some point coming out with a little bit more of an explanation, but maybe we won't. So, Tim, where do you think CZ fits in all of this conversation?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know. Obviously, CZ is no longer the CEO of Binance, although he's clearly definitely still a part of what happens over there. This is something that this is not the first time, and it will not be the last time that we've watched Binance or another massive player in the crypto space manipulate price. Now, I'm reading chat here. Got some bears in chat saying that this is not like something we've never seen this before in a bull run. Listen, if we did a whole show about everything that this bull run has done different than previous bull runs, that would fill up an entire hour just talking about that one topic. So absolutely right. Anyone who's saying that this bull market is different than ever before, 100% it is different. That is why I have been saying it is time to stop trying to use the 4-year cycle as your trajectory of what the future looks like, right? We no longer can predict the timeliness of these moves. We can still look at consistent pullbacks, percentages that seem to be the most likely for cool-offs for both Bitcoin and altcoins. We can look at trading and investing patterns of manipulators and whales and institutions, both in the crypto space and historically how they treat the stock market. Why is that important? Well, because this is the bull market of institutional adoption. Therefore, these markets are going to start moving a whole lot more like stock market movements than they will like our previous crypto ones. So I want to make sure we're getting off on the same foot here, whether you're bullish or bearish. You need to understand the concept of the 4-year cycle dictating and telling you when to buy and when to sell. Those days are over. That's all but been officially cemented at this point. Binance, though, is a large player. They have a lot of money. And even though you don't like to hear this, they have the ability to sell at particular times that are not convenient for you and me, retail investors, to buy at certain times, right as they've convinced a lot of us to sell out, and they're going to continue to do that, so on and so forth into the future. That is why we're getting back in here and we're talking about what to do with max pain, what to do in these faces of manipulation, because I wish I could tell you with 100% certainty what the next move is. I cannot. I can tell you the next couple of significant levels based off of technical analysis. I can tell you based off historically how markets move in the past with manipulation, what probabilities are. But for you to make sure that you gain as much money as possible, that is going to take a little bit of risk. That is going to take a little bit of faith. That is going to take a little bit of hodling on even when you're in pain. That's something that it's a lot easier to say with your mouth than it is to do with your wallet. And yet, that is how people make money in markets like this. Let's go back over into our Bitcoin chart here, and let's talk about max pain. And we'll start going into topics. We're going to start answering a lot of questions here in chat. I have not forgotten Constantine's question about price predictions. I'm going to do those. I'm going to answer the question about my price predictions later on in the video. But I want to start taking a look at just what we could expect and what the levels of significance are for Bitcoin and other coins. Now, again, you guys remember one of my favorite sayings: before you freak out, you need to zoom out, okay? When you zoom out on Bitcoin and you take a look at this entire bull market so far, does the current price action look significant whatsoever? Short answer is no. When you zoom in and you take a look at the details of what Bitcoin has done, you would think that we have bled 50, 60, 70%, the same as some of these altcoins, and yet Bitcoin is only down 14.28% from all-time high. Ladies and gentlemen, 14. Let's just be aggressive here. Let's round it up to 15. You don't even round it. It should be rounded down to 14, but let's go up to 15. Let's pretend we're down 15%. 15% on Bitcoin is absolutely nothing. That is not a single thing to worry about whatsoever. I've told you guys over and over again, even though I believe that at any moment the bull market could take off because we're waiting on the next big update, I wouldn't be surprised if we made move down towards 92, 90,000. This is a short-term zone we have been trading between here since November 25th of 2024. And of course, now through where we are now, several touches up here close to 110,000, several touches down here down towards 90,000. But let's just be very real here. Max pain. Is 90,000 max pain? The short answer is no. If we hit 90,000, we're talking about a 17% pullback on Bitcoin. Once again, neither is this historically significant or even within this bull market significant. If you go back to this bull market, you go back to this summer, we saw Bitcoin, summer 2024, take a very long, dramatic play out. I'm going to address the chat I just saw here real quick. If I can grab this tool correctly. There we go. We watched Bitcoin drop, would you look at that, 33%. Now, let me ask you guys a question in chat. Was that a bear market? Maybe some of you are going to say yes. Maybe some of you are going to say, Tim, it was a mini bear market, to which I say, okay, could we, if you want to call 2024 a mini bear market, then fine. I am willing to say I think there's a chance that Bitcoin is in a mini bear market, the same as it was in 2024. But if you're going to say no, that this was simply a long, drawn-out, sideways, boring price action, waiting to find out what the future of America would look like in terms of who would be the president of the United States, and this was just a blimp in the bull market, then I would tell you, you got to keep the same type of energy right here. I saw a chat just a second ago, someone saying this is looking a lot like a Bart Simpson pattern. Well, you know what Bart Simpson patterns often mimic? They mimic things like bull flags. This has a little bit of a look of a Bart Simpson pattern. This has a little bit of a look of a Bart Simpson pattern. This has a little bit of a look of Bart Simpson pattern. But what happened with all these times? We watched Bitcoin after a Bart Simpson pattern go up, go up, go up. What does this mean? Listen, Bart Simpson patterns, flags, they look almost identical. You don't know what's going to happen until you actually see some sort of a big breakout. Right now, we do not have a big breakout, and that is why we cannot go with the fear and say this is clearly a bearish pattern. There's a lot of evidence to say this is part of a bullish pattern, but you cannot say just yet it's bullish or bearish. But let's talk about, again, I keep saying it, but not getting to the actual answer. So here's where we're going to get to it. Max pain. Is 90K max pain? No, it is not. Let me pause for a second, actually, before I get there. Forgive my organization skills here. I'm taking a break from that conversation. Some of you might be saying, Tim, what is max pain? This feels like max pain. I am in extreme pain. No, max pain, everybody, is the amount of pain that could actually happen to the market and it stay in a bull market, right? Once you go into a bear market, yeah, you could talk about max pain being the bottom of the bear market, but when we talk about max pain in this bull market, we are looking for what is the deciding level that if we were to drop below would dictate an actual bear market versus how low can Bitcoin actually get and stay in a bull market. And there's a couple different ways to actually talk about what max pain is. One argument would say, and I'm going to use this argument for a lot of altcoins, one argument would say, as long as you are setting higher highs and higher lows, you are technically still in a bull market, okay? What was the last significant low? Well, you have to come all the way down here back towards $50,000. I'm not going to make that the max pain. I'm going to say the max pain comes above that level. But there's going to be some people out there that say that Bitcoin could drop back down to 50,000 and still stay in a bull market. That would be more than a 50% pullback. But it would still be a bull market. For me, I'm going to go with the weekly smart trail from Lux Algo. This, to me, is the level that I'm watching for max pain. And that level, we're coming in down here towards $75,000. As long as we stay above and bounce off of this blue smart trail for Bitcoin, then this is a sustained long-term bull market. You can see here, after conquering it back in February of 2023, we have maintained this blue support level the entire time, okay? Am I saying for certain that we're going to drop down to 75,000? I'm not saying for certain, but I'm saying that Bitcoin could drop to $75,000 and maintain its bull market status with us reaching max pain. This also, by the way, would mean if we fell to 75,000, we would have a 30% pullback. 30%, something we've already done multiple times in this bull market. Historically, it's a level of significance that Bitcoin's dealt with in the past in these bull market situations. This is actually very mild right here back in 2021 to start the whole thing off. We had a nice little 30% pullback. We actually, in the last bull market, had two different separate major pullbacks of over 50%, both in 2019 and again here in the middle of 2021. We saw a 50% pullback there. I'm not even calling for a 50% pullback to mimic the past bull markets. I'm saying what we've done so far this bull market with a couple 30% pullbacks, that to me is a reasonable max pain movement for Bitcoin to say, yeah, that hurts. Yeah, people hate that, but it would still be a bull market in my personal opinion. We would still be setting higher highs and higher lows. Does that mean sell all of your Bitcoin right now and wait for 75,000? If you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to stop anyone from doing that. And I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to even tell you don't do that. What I'm going to tell you and what a lot of you need to hear is simply what I'm doing. I am not going to sell at I'm not going to sell right now to try to buy back in at $75,000. I am more than willing to hold on, wait it out, embrace that, buy more at that dip, and let the bull market continue. Some of you might be saying right now, Tim, how the heck are you going to buy more? I have no more cash. Where do you keep getting all this money from? Guys, there's a word in the English language that you need to learn a lot about. It is called budget. I don't have cash right now sitting in my account that I had like a year ago. I'm not just holding on to this massive amount of cash that I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Every single month, I have an income. In fact, I bet you if you're watching this channel, you have some form of income. Maybe some of you don't, in which case, hopefully something works out for you soon. Hopefully you get a new job here soon, but we have income. A budget is put in place to make sure that you spend that money as wisely as possible. And in my budget, I have every single month, I have room for dry powder. So every month I get a new paycheck. I also have a new amount of money to spend. I've been buying dips because I have a good budget, not because I'm perfect at the market, not because I just knew a month ago we were falling back down towards 94K, but because I use my money wisely. I budget it correctly. I allocate a decent amount of it towards the things I need to do, my bills and everything else. I cover my family. I cover everything I have, but I make sure, hey, somewhere in my budget, I also have investment money. That is how you make it in this world. That is how you become wealthy. And that wealth might not turn over and become wealth in the next 24 hours. In fact, the dip that I bought this morning, I'm in loss. Clearly, I bought in around $95,000. Bitcoin's at 94, right? I bought Chainlink around $17. It's now at $16.21. Oop, doing a new intro. May, you good? We good?
that woke some,
We're
that woke
good.
some people up.
I was just making sure you guys were paying attention, okay? All right, Tim.
Watch those buttons. Watch those buttons there, Smay. You lost my train of thought. Yeah, I bought Chainlink at 17. Let me chew on Chainlink. It's down. I bought ONDO at $1.10. It's down. I bought Cardano at 75. It's down. 75 cents. It's down, right? I'm not saying that I make the most perfect purchases ever, but I'm buying dips when they come. I'm budgeting so I can buy them. And you know what's happening? Maybe today my dollar amount of my portfolio is down. Maybe my dollar amount in American dollars, I have less money in American dollars today than I had yesterday or last month. But you know what? When I look at my Satoshis, when I look at my coins and crypto that I believe in for the long term, all of those are increasing every single month. And that is the game you're looking to play. So, Max Payne, how much can you hold on? How much can you hold on to and keep buying the dips even when it doesn't feel good? Bitcoin, I'm looking around $75,000. As long as we stay above $75,000, I'm doing A-okay, my friend. Nothing is scaring me. That would be a pullback that happens. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about Max Payne? What's the significance here? If I was perfect, I would sell everything right now and buy at 75,000 if that was going to happen. I don't know that's going to happen. I know that right now we're sitting on some major support here close to $92,000. I know that it's a tactic of the composite man and manipulators to get us to feel like Max Payne is a whole lot sooner than it actually is, because when you stop buying and when you start selling your crypto, that is the moment they will be buying in bulk. This is why this Binance story is so significant. People the other day, I watched retail investors swarm at the concept of buying Solana as down as it was. Binance knows this. They know that they can take advantage of retail opinion and make it go the opposite direction. There's a constituted effort right now to suppress the price of Solana. Now, some of you might say that's because they want to get rid of it altogether. I think it's because Solana is still a very valuable asset all the way around. And if they can make the price go down, they're going to make the price go down so that they can buy the dip while everybody else is fearful, because everybody else could not hold out. Their Max Payne was way, way, way too high. All the while, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That is not the tactic that a lot of you want to fall into. And yet, I do fear that is where the direction of the market is going. We're going to start engaging with some chat here. Listen, a lot of you guys in chat, they're negative. I love the opinions. Love it. Let's definitely keep it. Let's keep it respectful for sure. Don't ever want to get rid of anyone. Let me see here. Pew Pew Cruz saying it's not all manipulation. Come on, man. Now let's start off here. Pew Pew Cruz, love you. You've been here for a very long time. Love that you come in chat. Clearly, you're negative right now. You're selling. Good for you. If you want to sell, go ahead and sell. It's not all manipulation. You're right. Not everything is manipulation. And eventually, when a bear market does start, manipulation will be a part of it, but it will keep going down and down and down. So I don't want anyone to be confused, and I want Pew Pew Cruz to understand this as well. I'm not saying that we will never enter a bear market ever again, but the conditions of what will cause us to enter a bear market have not hit heavily. High retail interest, we have not done that. Massive euphoria, we have not done that. I know it feels like we've gotten there. We've had moments of euphoria, little pockets, but we have not had massive euphoria. And with everything we see going down the railroad here, like we report day in and day out these massive bullish stories that don't have short-term implications. They have long-term implications. Well, when I look at that future and I just see there's no short-term spark, it makes me believe, all right, we are going to continue to have to wait. It's not all manipulation, but Pew Pew Cruz, a lot more of it is manipulation than you would think, especially with the heavy positive information that's coming out, the adoption that is coming down the road sooner than you would think, and yet prices keep going to the downside. A lot of it is manipulation. And guess what, guys? Manipulation is not going anywhere. So don't think it's like, well, this is the season of manipulation. Once we get out of it, we're all good to go. No. Manipulation is here to stay. Manipulation will cause it to rally when you think it's going to fall. It will cause it to fall when you think it's going to rally. This is the part of what we warned you about when it comes to institutional adoption. We have been screaming this from the mountaintops for years now, that manipulation is coming like a freight train because of the institutional adoption. The question, however, is how do you respond to that manipulation? Because again, people act like the word manipulation is nothing but negative, and that's not true. Manipulation brings price both to the downside and to the upside. Just like a bucking bronco, can you hold on? That is the question. And when they push you like this and they're dropping the price dramatically and they're scaring you and you're seeing some of your favorite altcoins down 50, 60, 70%, you are getting terrified and they have you right where they want you. What's the best advice I could give you? What's the advice that I'm taking in for myself? I'm going to hold on. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy the ride. I'm going to make money long term. I'm not in this to make money by next month. I want to make money for the rest of my life. And I understand that some things don't go the way that I hope they go. I'm going to continue to hodl on no matter what. Which, by the way, let's take a look at some altcoins here. See a lot of people in chat saying not selling whatsoever. Love it. Definitely not terrified, said Lasers. It makes me think you are terrified there. Let's, what was I going to do there? Let's talk about, oh, Tshroom, I lost my train of thought there.
You're just going to look at some chat.
We look at altcoins. Thank you. We're looking at altcoins because we talked Bitcoin, right? Very clearly talked about Bitcoin max pain, 75,000. We're not even close to max pain on Bitcoin, right? Let's talk about some other altcoins. Let's start off with the coins being talked about the most right now, Solana. Now, interestingly, Solana is doing something on the charts right now that almost no other altcoin is doing. Remember I told you max pain for Bitcoin is the weekly smart trail? Well, if you looked at other altcoins, look at Chainlink, for example. Chainlink is sitting on its weekly smart trail. ONDO is sitting on its weekly smart trail. There we go. Cardano is sitting on its weekly smart trail, right? All of this hitting its nice level of support. Nothing's freaking out. Solana is one of the few altcoins that I'm watching right now that actually, with this last weekly move, which the week isn't over, the week just got started, but we have broken below the weekly smart trail. Now, if we start to rally back up, we'll recapture it. Don't freak out too much. But it's doing something that no other coin is doing at the moment, and that is it's dropped below the weekly smart trail. Does that mean that Solana is past max pain and that Solana now has officially entered a bear market? Short answer is no. So what is happening here? All right. Something is going on with the chart there. Oh, it's just I'm on the weekly chart. Let's go back to the daily chart. There we go. All right. That was messing me up a lot. I got to turn that off too. There we go. Okay. So again, before you freak out, let's zoom out. Take a look at Solana's chart here. A massive explosion. In fact, first of all, it doesn't seem massive. At the time, going from $8 up to $27, very big explosion here. Sign of life that Solana existed, right? Back here, myself included. I am not going to sit here and lie to anybody and tell you guys I am the biggest Solana supporter of all time. I knew it was going to do that. No, I thought Solana was a dead project. I did call the bottom $8. I just thought that was going to be a bounce, and then we were going to go much lower later on. Solana showed us back in early 2023 it was not dead. As bad as FTX was, it was not dead. We then went into a nice, boring sideways zone for multiple months to the end of 2023, and then Solana had another massive run-up. Everything ran here at the end of 2023, early 2024. Wow, my mouse is being stupid. Everything ran right in this time period, but very few things ran the same way Solana did. And it got itself to one of the highest altcoins out there, one of the few altcoins that had existed in the past bull market and bear market that was about to hit a new all-time high. In fact, now it has hit a new all-time high. It just made a massive run-up. We then had our very long, boring summer, made another higher high here in December and January with some more meme coin hype, but it absolutely has slowed down. Well, you know what? I'm going to sit here and say there's actually two levels that I think could be significant here, but you always have to be aware of. Obviously, the first one's going to be higher highs and higher lows, 120. Okay, $120 on Solana should be, I think, a realistic max pain position. But you want to know my honest opinion? I think you could actually go a lot further down than that. Let's go to where this explosion started in September of 2023. The reality is, even if Solana, now this might be a bear market bottom, but even if Solana came down here to $50, and that is a massive drop in Solana price, that would be a decrease of 82%. Nobody wants to see that. But yet, compared to where it was when all of this bull market started, that is a level that I would still watch and say, you know what? I want to buy more of that dip. As long as we stay above there, I still believe in Solana. I'm going to be holding my Solana for a while. Max pain for this bull market, though, what I would say is, hey, how low could we get? And then say, all right, if we drop below this level, we're probably in a bear market, probably sitting in the camp of 119, 120, back to the lows we had back in August of 2024. Okay? That's what I'm watching right now. So you guys want to know where max pain is there? It is down at 120. Does that mean Solana's going to go down there? That's not saying it's going to. I do think it's something to be aware of with us recently, with us knowing there's hefty manipulation there, with us knowing we just lost a key support level. Like, this would be the equivalency, this red zone right here. This is like Bitcoin's 90K, right? 120 is like Bitcoin's 75K. This is like Bitcoin's 90K. So Solana lost its 90K. That's why I'm sitting here saying max pain 119. I wouldn't be thrown off or think it's crazy if Solana hit $120. I'm not selling. I'll buy more at that level. We're going to talk price predictions here in just a couple of minutes because it's getting towards the end of the show already. But I still believe Solana could hit there. Let's run through some others. Some of my favorites. Let's stick with Tim's favorites, and then we'll get to chat. By the way, Davey Cakes is daily 75K check-in, then 240K. Davey, listen, more every single day. I'm thinking you could be onto something here. I still think 90K is strong for Bitcoin, but as I just said, 75K is my max pain point. That's something I think Bitcoin could hit, and it stays bullish. He, of course, is saying 75K and then up to 240. So it sounds like that's Davey Cake's analysis here as well. Let's talk about Chainlink here. Well, technically, Chainlink is sitting close to its 90K mark. What's its 90K mark? We're in this falling channel here on Bitcoin. Let me change this to a blue line just for bullish support. We are touching today on this lower trend line of this falling channel. And this falling channel is a bullish channel. It should send price back to the upside, but we are testing the limits. We are testing the support level right now of that lower level. What's the max pain point for Chainlink? I'm going to come back in with this philosophy with altcoins. When you zoom out, is Chainlink the sexiest looking chart we have here? No, not necessarily. I mean, Solana clearly has more explosiveness, but we are still setting higher lows, wherever this one ends up being. I don't know where it's going to be. And higher highs on Chainlink, right? Technically the higher back here. We're still in a bull trend. As long as we stay in that higher high and higher low section, these altcoins can absolutely stay in the bull market. Max pain for Chainlink, I'm going to put it somewhere in the world of just over $10. If we lose $10, I will say, all right, I think Chainlink is in a bear market, probably making a much larger pullback. Other coins like ONDO, very, very quick here. Probably sitting here in the world of 58 cents. We're still hitting higher highs, higher lows. We're on our own little falling channel ourselves here on ONDO. We'd have to drop back to around 58 cents to say, all right, ONDO sees some major, major problems. For Cardano, we're talking about, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to do a little bit different here with Cardano because of how big of a pullback that is. I'm going to call for a golden pocket pullback. We actually already tested it once. If I can grab Fibonacci here again. Come on now. There we go. Pullback, max pain. We touched it once. Can we do it again? Absolutely. 52 cents for Cardano. If we lose 52 cents, I believe Cardano could be in trouble here. With all of this said, I think it's a good time to talk about Tim's price predictions. And let's pretend we do lose all these max pain points, how Tim will respond. Let's go off my screen here, Smay. For Tim's price predictions, we'll just throw some out there. I put out there that I think that Chainlink, low end $200, reasonable $400, outside perspective $700. I think Bitcoin can get over 200,000. I think that Solana could get over 1,000. I think ONDO could make its way up. I think we said something on $20. I think that XRP can still go over $10. I think SUI can make its way towards $50. I have a lot of price predictions out there. There are certain coins I have to revise some, right? There's some coins out there I'm not as bullish on right now as I was months ago. But for the majority of the ones that you guys want to know about, the ones that I've talked about almost every single day on this channel, the ones that I'm heavily invested in, does this dip change my price predictions whatsoever? And the simple answer is no. My price predictions for these coins are not shaken whatsoever, mostly because these long-term price predictions, I've always told you guys, I think this bull market is different. I think that we go on past that expected 4-year cycle top of November 2025. I told you, I think the 4-year cycle is broken. I think it's done. It's dead. We're in a brand new market. Those price predictions are all based off of how valuable I think these things can be. I wasn't doing a bunch of fancy technical analysis to get to my price predictions. I was estimating just where market caps could get to with these projects, how much money can flow into them. Because I know you and I track price. You and I look at what is the dollar amount of Cardano or Chainlink or Solana. But the reality is What makes the price go up is how much money in total is going into their market cap. Nothing about these dips is changing the long-term fundamental perspective that money is going to flow into these cryptos like crazy. And that's what's going to cause the prices to shoot up high. Okay. That is one thing I want to talk about. Also, I want to show you guys. Let's look at Cardano's chart for a second. I think it's good that I have it up here. You might be saying, but Tim, a lot of these coins we're talking about, they've dropped 50, 60, 70%, right? Cardano dropped 61%. It's currently down 45. Other coins are down 50, 60%. Doesn't that mean, Tim, that the bull market's over? Well, I want to remind you, in this bull market so far, we already saw Cardano and several other coins drop over 60%. But what about last bull market, where Cardano was the number one driving, pumping coin in the last bull market amongst the top 10? Take a look at what Cardano had to deal with back then. A lot of choppiness back in here. A black swan event that set it to its low overall. But Cardano, during a bull market, saw 70% pullbacks. Over here, it saw, let's go to this one. I think it's going to be close to 50, but let me get the numbers correct. We saw 53% pullbacks. You come back over here, after Elon's whole news early in 2021, we saw Cardano pull back 60%. So we saw a 70, a 54, and a 60% pullback in the largest moving altcoin in 2021. What does that tell me? Altcoins are volatile, people. Money flows in, money flows out. That doesn't change the fact that the bull market was still explosive for Cardano, even though it had those three massive pullbacks. It means that altcoins, when you play with altcoins, it's like playing with fire. When you use fire correctly, fire can be really fun. Fire can do some really cool things. But when you don't know what you're doing, you can get burned. Altcoins will do that to you. If you want the massive gains, you also have to ride the massive volatility. So for that reason, yes, I understand we're down 50% in a lot of these altcoins. I've seen it before, and I know that that doesn't cancel out the long-term bullishness. You can go off my screen now. Last thing I want to say, and then we're going to transition with Tshroom and Smay, was what happens if my max pain points are broken, right? What happens if Bitcoin drops below 75,000? What happens if Chainlink drops below $10 and Cardano drops below 52 cents? And do I sell? Well, here comes another thing you guys are not going to like. I'm just going to tell you right now, you guys are not going to like what I'm going to say. So smash the like button. I've round tripped a bull market before. You don't love it. Round tripping is not fun. If you don't know what round tripping is, round tripping means you held your crypto the entire bull market, missed the top, and held throughout the entire bear market, right? I was newer to investing. I did not see the signs that I should have seen at the top of 2021 that I should have sold off my crypto, right? I round tripped it. I am fully prepared right now to round trip it once again. Why is that? Because let's pretend we end up going down below 75,000 on Bitcoin and these altcoins bleed even further. The 4-year cycle is over, people. The 4-year cycle is over. This bull market would be the shortest bull market in history. Going from the bear market bottoms being beginning of 2023, topping out to the end of 2024, that would be the shortest bull market by almost a full year. Which means we're probably also going to see the shortest bear market we've ever seen. Let's say we're in a bear market right now. Let's entertain the entire bearish community here in chat. Let's pretend you are right. Okay. We drop down. We stay bearish a couple more months. But I would gather that whether the bull market takes off or the bear market continues, the bull market will restart and be pumping by summer of 2025. That we're going to start the next bull market a lot earlier. And when I invested in these cryptocurrencies, I didn't invest for a short-term pump for a quick money grab. I invested because I saw the potential and the value that they would present in the future. And I have goals of what I want to do with my wealth. And if I have to hold on to these coins at spot prices and let them ride down another 30, 40, 50% and ride out the next bear market into the next bull market, then I'm willing to do so. All it means is I'm going to delay when I buy my house. I'm going to delay when I invest in new businesses. I might not go on an extravagant trip to Europe or anything, right? I might live on a strict budget because my altcoins are not where I want them to be. But I didn't get into crypto for a quick pump. I got into crypto for a long-term building of wealth. And if I have to wait a little bit longer, I'm going to do it. And you know what I'm going to do with my budget? I'm going to keep buying all of those dips, and I'm going to get even richer. It might take me until the end of 2026, end of 2027. You know what I've done to make sure I'm ready for that? And this is where I think some people are not in the right boat. I'm not overinvested. I got a lot of money in crypto. I am not overinvested. I have the ability, the financial and mental ability to ride this thing out and not sell a single token of anything I hold for years because I budget correctly to pay my bills. I budget correctly to make sure I have everything done in my household, that I can keep as much money in crypto long-term as I need. If we hit these levels, summer of 2026, yeah, I'll take profit then. If I get my portfolio to where I want it to be later on, I don't care what happens in the summer of 2025, the fall of 2025, the summer of 2026, or the summer of 2030. I am willing to wait for my long-term holds to do what I know that they're capable of doing. I'll tell you if I change my mind. I'll tell you if one of the projects I'm invested in all of a sudden fundamentally shift and become less valuable. But when I look at the fundamentals of these coins, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and Chainlink and ONDO and SUI, being down 50% doesn't tell you where they're going in the future. It just tells you have an amazing opportunity to buy right now if you have the bravery to do so. That's how a lot of people need to start thinking about it going forward. I'm willing to round trip. Some of you are not. Go ahead and sell if you want to, but I encourage you, remember why you got in the first place. Be willing to hold on. And those who are willing to hold on, those who mentally right now decide, I'm willing to round trip, there's nothing the institutions can do to shake you out of your money. You're going to ride the whole bull market with them, and you're going to make a lot of money. That's going to wrap up my soapbox for the day. Smash that like button, everybody. Tshroom, and before we get into our factoid of the day, any thoughts, anything you want to chime in real quickly about that? Anything you disagree with and hate that I just said?
No, I don't disagree with it. And, we talked about this about a week ago, and I think that it is kind of getting to that time where this is an appropriate thing to start to discuss. Although we're not at those max pain levels yet, there is a chance that something is different, right? And that can mean something is different and that's going to have, repricing to the downside. That could also mean something is different and we're close to the bottom, and buying right now is the best thing you can possibly do. We don't know. That's what's so interesting and fascinating about these markets is you never really know exactly what's going on. The best thing you can do is continue to follow whales into high value, high utility projects, whether that be in stocks, whether that be in crypto, right? That's the way that I look at it. I feel as though I am invested in what the market has already deemed to be the most valuable crypto projects. Have I missed a couple? Yeah, Toncoin comes to mind in 2024. But I've also was very early on Caspa, right? So you win some, you lose some. But these moments where the whole market is coming down and swinging down in unison, this is not the time to capitulate. This is not the time to sell. This is the time to say, to take inventory. Okay, do I have any silly coins that have proven to not be very valuable? Right? Meme coins might fall into that category for you. But if you look at your portfolio and you're seeing, okay, I've got good value here. I've got Ethereum, I've got Solana, I've got Bitcoin. Now, some of these are down, and I might not even be in profit anymore on some of these. But does that mean you should sell? Where are you going to put that money? Are you going to just put it into euros? Are you going to put it into dollars? Where is that money going to rotate into? Is it going to go into the stock market? If you have a good plan and you continue to manage your finances accordingly with good risk management, then that's great, right? But at this point in time, I'm not feeling as though there's a better investment than altcoins, right? So I will continue to DCA Solana, high utility coins, Ethereum, obviously Bitcoin, but also on the stock side, there's some mid cap stocks that I like that are getting repriced. Still not maybe as low as I'd like to see them quite yet. That's a thought you should have. Wait till the prices you want come onto the screen. Don't just buy impulsively. But overall, I'm still a very big net buyer of risk in general. I'm not following the bond market into bonds right now. I'm not looking for fixed income. I'm continuing to look at this market and say the forces that are keeping it down mostly are a expectation that QE may not come for a little while, right? But QE will come. And that is when a bunch more liquidity will flush into the market, and these asset prices, depending on where they are, will moon, right? So that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it all. Am I willing to round trip my bags? Absolutely, because these were always long-term investments, and I never invested more than I can afford to lose. And you shouldn't be doing anything different.
Very, very good. Well, we got a super chat here. We're going to do our factoid of the day. The 2-month chart is about to print a shooting star candle. Yes. Let's go look real quickly, and then we'll take a look there. I don't love the 2-month chart, but let's go take a look there. That's the monthly chart candle right there. I have a thought on that. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to give a thought. Some of you guys are from the community with Stocks to Josh. By the way, shout out to Stocks to Josh. Love Josh. Love the information he puts out there. I have a respectful disagreement with his analysis on the monthly chart. I'll talk about that tomorrow if you guys remind me. He also loves the 2-month chart. Let's take a look at that real quickly. 2-month chart. This would not close. Is this January? Okay, so this is gonna be the end of the month. If that closes, yeah, that's gonna be it's not a shooting star. This would be called a dragonfly doji candle. Now, doji candles can be reversals. A lot of times they're what we call they're undecided, meaning the trend that we were been in is over. Well, what's the trend? Not over, but paused, right? We've been bullish on the 2-monthly candle, since here on January 1st. Now, actually, look here. This is actually a great example. That right here, back here in March, that is a bearish dragonfly doji candle. Well, we actually continue to drag sideways and boring for the next couple of months, but it's an indecision candle, meaning we're not sure. The momentum clearly has stopped, but we're not sure if we want to continue the upside, we want to reverse the downside, or go sideways. So what does this tell me? This tells me, all right, yeah, we don't know. We don't know what's next. The momentum's not here, right? There is not bullish momentum. This is a confirmation of that. There is not bullish momentum right now. That doesn't automatically equal there's bearish momentum, right? Just because you have a lack of bullish pushing doesn't mean the bears can take over and control these long-term charts. It means for the time being, there's no reason for the bull market to continue. Well, what we know is there's something on the radar that could cause the bullish route to continue, and that would be regulatory clarity or quantitative easing. So we're sitting on the doorstep of 2 massive bullish catalysts. But until they happen, what's the reason to continue going to the upside? There is none. That's what this chart is telling me right here.
Yeah.
Let's bring up Smay. Smay, we always like to close out the show with a good old fun factoid of the day. Come back tomorrow for my thought on the monthly chart if you guys want that. But let's talk about this factoid. What do you got for us, Smay?
Well, I just want to say first and foremost, guys, here's the deal. If you're getting really scared right now, there's one thing that you can do that is the instant cure to all fear. And you might be wondering, what the heck is the instant cure to all fear? There's an asterisk there so I don't get sued. But it is joining our Discord, guys. You join our Discord. There's lots of fun, happiness, and community in there, and where we all sing Kumbaya and hold hands and move around in a circle, and it's not that bad. So also, in a more serious note, I've been in these crypto markets longer than these rascals, technically, by technicality. And I will say...
You are the OG.
I am the OG, and I will say this. I've been through many cycles, and I will say, Smay is not scared. Why is Smay not scared? Because you guys are complaining about a low that is literally still in the 90s, like the 90,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's absolutely crazy. 2 years ago, when I was in the past, crypto was like under 20. You know what I mean? So like that's crazy. You guys put into some perspective here. And if you're worried about your altcoins, maybe invest in better altcoins. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the factoid of the day, brought to you by Decrypted.tax. This one's Binance themed because of our little Binance story. After its launch in 2017, Binance quickly rose to prominence. How soon did it reportedly become one of the world's largest crypto exchanges by trading volume? A, within less than 3 months. B, wow, after 6 months. C, after 1 year. Or D, after 2 years.
Rise to prominence is the most subjective thing. I'm going to say after a year.
After a year. So its launch was in 2017. Of course, that was you're getting into the bull market. I'm trying to think, what were the other massive exchanges that people could use? I actually low-key wouldn't be surprised if it was less than 3 months. Let's go 6 months. Let's say 6 months just to get it going. That'd be pretty hard to do in less than 3 months. But like, there's a part of me that thinks the answer is either A or B. I think it took a while. I don't think it took long at all. But I'm gonna go B. 6
I think it's
months.
C. Charlie.
Okay, you're gonna see. I'm gonna be watch it be A.
All right, and with that, drum roll. A! It is A. Now,
Yeah.
I have the fact check here, and now you guys might get me on a technicality here. I'll tell you this right now, though. The elf has an inside scoop, and it was a little hard to get the fact check on this. But, nonetheless, I couldn't open it because, obviously, this is behind a paywall, but it did give me a little secret here. Binance became the largest crypto exchange within, keyword within, okay? Within, not after, within 6 months, so which would make it closer to A than it would have, So technicality. Technically, it's A. It wouldn't have been B because B said after 6 months. So within 6 months, there was a fact check on that note. So whether it was within 3 months, that's to be debated. But I think the elf knows what he's talking about. So with that, back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a chat here I'm going to read on the way out. Chris Daniel, you get a round of applause from me for humor, and then you get a thumbs down for the actual punchline. He says, Tim knows what Max Payne is. He's a Hokie fan. he's Chris, I've never been so offended by something I 100% agree with. You're right. I know what Max Payne is from a sports perspective.
Go Gators.
Yeah, well, it's not like the Gators are really far away from me either. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up today's show. Like Smay said, if you guys are freaking out, go join the free Discord, right? It's free. It's free. There are paid levels if you guys want to go more in depth with us. For example, I told you guys at the front of the show, even if you're bearish or not, even if you're freaking out, you can trade these markets both to the upside and the downside. Joining our VIP trading group, if you don't know how to trade, we'll teach you how to do it. Go check out one of our membership options in the description down below. There's always ways to make money. Bull markets, bear markets, boring markets. We can always find a way. With that said, that's all we got for you guys on the way out. Make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're almost to 50,000 subscribers. Need your help. Go hit it. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Adios.